Happy Wednesday, guys! I tried to put R2 in the frame today so you could see him since he's been so noisy lately. Since he wants to participate, so I thought I'd let him sit with us today. Okay, so yesterday we continued reading Summer of the Sea Serpent, and Jack and Annie kind of conquered their next hurdle. So if you remember, they are on a mission to find the Sword of Light, and they have kind of stages that they have to go through in order to do that. So the first stage was finding the Water Knight to get them across the water, which they did. And then the second stage was getting through the cave of the Spider Queen. What did the Spider Queen do that was kind of surprising yesterday? Leave your answer in the comments. Okay, so we're going to continue reading. We were on chapter 5. I think I'm going to read 3 chapters today, just so we can kind of get a little farther ahead. Okay, so let's go over our vocabulary and then we'll get started. So first word is cove, which is just that area of water that's typically right off an ocean. It's surrounded by land. The next word is dappled. Dappled is a space where there's a couple of trees where light comes through. Light comes through the trees and kind of acts like little dots of light. Could also do that through clouds. Grasp means to grab or to hold. Mighty is like strong. Murky is when water is like dirty and kind of yucky. You can't really see to the bottom. Receded means to pull back, like how waves kind of go in and pull back. And then the last word was solstice, and solstice was that time of year when it's sort of the midway point between spring and summer. So, or fall and winter, but in our case, we're looking at the spring and summer solstice, which is usually around like the 20th of June. Okay, so we are on chapter 5. I swear that's what it says. See, it says like, wait, no. It says, or bark. I don't know. I can't do a seal sound. Okay. Jack splashed into the blue sunlit sea. He sank to the bottom and bobbed back up. He coughed and pushed his hair out of his eyes. Annie was treading water nearby. Hey, she called. Hey, Jack sputtered. I was wrong, said Annie. You were right. She sounded thrilled. The Spider Queen was just trying to help us. Yeah, said Jack. He shook the seawater off his glasses and pulled them back on. She must be lonely, said Annie. She probably feels like she has to leave in that cave because she's so scary looking. Maybe, said Jack. He looked around the second cove. Purple shadows stretched over the rocky seashore beneath the cliff. The sun was moving farther now across the sky. We'd better hurry up, said Jack. What do we do now? Read the rhyme, said Annie. Jack pulled the shell out of his pocket. Treading water, he read the next line in Merlin's poem. And swim with a selkie clothed in green. What's a selkie? Said Annie. Who knows, said Jack. He looked at the cliffs and the shore. Is a selkie a fish, a person? What? He wondered. Then Jack saw 2 dark shapes speeding like fat tornadoes beneath the surface of the water. They were coming straight at him and Annie. Watch out! Jack shouted. Yoink! Annie yelled. They swam out of the way as the 2 creatures moved swiftly past them. Suddenly, 2 sleek gray heads popped up above the surface. They had wide snouts and long white whiskers. They had tiny wrinkly ears and big dark eyes. Seals, said Annie. The 2 seals turned their head like periscopes. Periscopes are, if you're below the water, like in a submarine, you can put up a thing. It's called a periscope, and it goes up above the water, so you can see what's above the water even though you're below it. When they saw Jack and Annie, they opened their mouths, showing their small, pointed teeth. They seemed to be smiling. Hi, guys, said Annie. Bark, bark, the seals barked. Then they rolled through the water and bumped Jack and Annie with their nose. They barked again joyfully, then darted towards the shore. Come on, said Annie. Let's play with them. We don't have time to play, said Jack. But Annie had already started after the seals, swimming to the rocky beach. Annie, stop, cried Jack. We have to hurry and find the selkie and the Sword of Light before nightfall, or King Arthur will meet his doom and... Jack's voice trailed off. Annie didn't hear him. She and the seals had reached the shore and were getting out of the water. The seals clumsily hauled their chubby bodies onto a big rock and flopped down. Annie climbed onto the rock, too. Annie, come on, said Jack. It could be as late as 4 o'clock, he thought, and there was still a lot to do before nightfall. Let's rest for a minute, called Annie. She sat near the seals and patted their shiny heads like they were big dogs. The seals barked. Actually, Jack wanted to rest, too. He felt really tired. Maybe we should just rest a minute with the seals, he thought, then search for the selkie. Well, okay, he shouted, but just a quick minute. Jack headed to shore. By the time he dragged himself up out of the water, the seals were lying on their backs with their eyes closed. Their white whiskers twitched as they slept in the warm sun. Shh, they're napping, Annie said. She lay down beside the seals and closed her eyes. The sun feels really good, Jack. Come on, lie down with us for a second. Brother, said Jack. But the afternoon sunlight did feel good. He climbed onto the rock and lay next to Annie and the seals. Ooh. Come on, get clear. Buddy. Whatever. Those are the seals. Okay, just a quick second, he said. Jack closed his eyes. The sun felt good on his arms and legs. The gentle sea breeze felt clean and fresh after the cave of the Spider Queen. The next thing he knew, he faded into a deep, peaceful sleep. Chapter 6. The Sulky. Wake up, lazy bones! Can't sleep all day! A friendly voice said. Jack's eyes shot open. Oh no, he thought. What time is it? He sat up and looked around. The seals were gone. Standing over Jack and Annie was a barefoot boy with a happy, freckled face. Teddy, said Jack. For a moment, he forgot all about their time. Teddy, cried Annie. She leaped up and hugged the young sorcerer. Teddy was grinning from ear to ear. He was wearing a brown tunic, and his red hair was damp. You're finally here, said Jack, laughing. Oh, damp was a word. I've been here for a while, said Teddy. Merlin sent me this morning. I was waiting for you on the beach when Kathleen came along and invited me for a swim. Teddy turned to a girl standing farther down the beach. Like Teddy, she looked to be about 13. Kathleen, he called, come meet my friends. The girl smiled and began walking over the rocks towards Jack, Annie, and Teddy. She wore a green dress that looked like it was woven from grass. Her hair fell in black ringlets down to her waist like a dark waterfall. These are my friends, Jack and Annie, said Teddy. They come from a land far away. Hi, Jack and Annie, the girl said in a bold, friendly voice. I'm very happy to meet you. My name is Kathleen. As she spoke, her eyes sparkled with the blue of the sky and water. Jack couldn't speak. Kathleen was the most beautiful girl he'd ever seen. I like your dress, said Annie. Kathleen just laughed. I wove it from seagrass, she said. I'm not a very good weaver, I'm sad to say. Do you live here, asked Annie. I do, said Kathleen, with my 19 sisters. 19 sisters, said Annie. Yes, said Kathleen, tossing back her hair. I'm the youngest. We live in a cave up on the cliffs. Cool, said Annie. Is your cave like the cave of the Spider Queen? No, said Kathleen. It's way more cheerful than Morag's cave. That's her name, said Annie. I'm worried she's lonely. Nah, don't worry, said Kathleen. Morag has many friends, bats, crabs, starfish, but it's kind that you're concerned about her. She smiled at Annie. Kathleen's friendly manner finally gave Jack the courage to speak. He cleared his throat. The water knight was cool too, he said. The water knight, said Kathleen. Yeah, the guy who carried us across the first cove? Kathleen still looked confused. He had a fishtail on a horse, said Annie. How strange, said Kathleen. I often swim there, but I've never seen or heard of that knight. Have you lived here a long time? Said Annie. Always, said Kathleen. Kathleen is a Selkie, said Teddy. A Selkie? Said Jack and Annie. Yes, said Kathleen, rhyming. Hey, you're in Merlin's rhyme then, said Annie. He said, swim with the Selkie clothed in green. Merlin's rhyme? Asked Teddy. Merlin gave us a rhyme to help us find the Sword of Light. The smile left Kathleen's face. Her beautiful eyes darkened. You came in search of the Sword of Light? She said. Oh, dear. Whoa, what's wrong? Said Jack. Well, many have passed through here seeking the Sword of Light, said Kathleen. But as soon as anyone enters the cove beyond the jellyfish caves, terrible winter storms seem to burst out of nowhere. Even in summer, the storms have icy wind and rain. No seekers of the swords have ever survived those gales. Have you ever been to the cove by the jellyfish cave? Said Jack. Kathleen shook her head. My older sisters forbid me to go there, she said. In fact, no Selkie has ever dared swim into the cove of the stormy coast. Cove of the Stormy Coast, said Annie. That's the next rhyme. Enter the cove of the stormy coast. Wait, what is Merlin's rhyme? Said Teddy. Here, said Jack, look. He handed it over to Teddy. The boy sorcerer quickly read Merlin's message in rhyme. Then he looked at the sky. The sun moves on. We must make haste, or we must find the sword before nightfall, or someday King Arthur will meet his doom. Wait a minute, said Annie. She looked at Kathleen. The rhyme says we're supposed to swim with you. Will you come with us? Kathleen looked at them. Then she tossed it up and tossed back her curls. You know, I've always wanted to explore that cove, she said. Hooray, said Teddy. You'll be the first Selkie to do so. A grand adventure awaits us all. Onward! Hold up, said Jack. What was that about Jellyfish Cave? You need not worry about the jellyfish, said Kathleen. They cannot harm us. They cannot, said Jack. No, said the Selkie. Not if we all turn into seals. That's Teddy reading the rhyme. Chapter 7. Cove of the Stormy Coast. Seals, said Annie. Jack looked at Teddy. Did she say we were going to turn into seals? Yes, said Teddy. That's what Selkies do. They are people on land and seals in the sea. Wait, you're a seal? Jack asked Kathleen. Sometimes, said the Selkie, smiling. Jack stared at her. He couldn't believe that beautiful girl sometimes turned into a seal. Whenever I come ashore and dry off in the sun, my seal skin falls away, said Kathleen. Then I'm human, like I am right now. Oh, I get it, said Annie. You were one of those 2 seals we saw in the water. Of course, said Kathleen. Teddy was the other. Jack looked at Teddy. You? Ha! What? Teddy grinned. I'm a magician, remember, he said. Kathleen laughed. Yes, but this time it was my magic that did the work. She pointed to 2 shiny gray skins lying on the sand. I gave him a seal skin and spoke the Selkie spell. Wait, you turned Teddy into a seal? Said Jack. Aye, said Kathleen, and I shall do the same for you. I'm sure my sisters will not mind if we borrow 2 more of their skins. The Selkie started toward a pile of rocks. Teddy watched Kathleen go, then looked at Jack and Annie. She has powerful magic, he said. No kidding, said Annie. Jack was speechless. He couldn't quite believe he and Annie were about to turn into seals. Kathleen came out from behind the rocks with 2 shiny skins. Take these, she said, handing them to Jack and Annie. The skins kind of look like scuba diver wetsuits with hoods. Put them over your clothes, said Kathleen, like this. She and Teddy picked up their own sealskins from the sand and began pulling them on. Jack and Annie did the same. Jack stretched the skin up over his legs and shorts and then his arms and t-shirts. He felt like he was wearing a thick layer of blubber. Before we cover our heads and face, we must wade into the water, said Kathleen. Follow me. Jack waded clumsily into the water with the others. This is crazy, he thought. You can't become a seal by putting on a seal costume. Kathleen stopped them when they were waist deep. Slip on your hoods, she said. I'll say a few words in the Selkie language. Then we'll all dive in. Teddy grinned at Jack and Annie. We have flown together through the sky, he said. Now we shall swim together in the deep, huh? Jack nodded, but he still didn't believe this was going to work. Quickly, said Kathleen, cover your heads and faces. Dive when I say the spell. Jack pulled on his hood. He stretched it over his forehead, then over his chin, glasses, nose. He couldn't see or talk. He wanted to rip the hood off, but Kathleen's voice stopped him. Akada troa demi, by he who knoa hani. Jack quickly heard 1 splash, then 2 more. He dove into the sea. As soon as the seawater covered his head and body, Jack felt the sealskin melt into his own. His chest expanded to the size of a barrel. His arms and legs vanished and flippers took their place. Jack shot through the water like a torpedo. So there's Jack, Annie, Teddy, and Kathleen as their seal selves. When he moved his front flippers, he turned right or left. When he moved his back, he zoomed forward. Jack rolled and swerved in and out of schools of fish and jungles of seagrass. He dove into the murky depths of the cove. Then he shot back up to the surface. In his smooth seal body, he could swim 10 times faster than he could in his human body, and he could see and hear perfectly. Jack rose and fell through the deep. 2 seals appeared beside him. Bubbles came from their mouth, and they made gurgling, clicking sounds. Jack could understand exactly what the seal sounds meant. Hey, Jack, it's me. It's me, too. Hi, guys, Jack called to Annie and Teddy. He heard trilling sounds on the other side and saw the 3rd seal, Kathleen, swimming gracefully towards him. Hello, Jack. Hello, Kathleen, Jack clicked back. He wanted to tell the Selkies how much fun he was having, but when he opened his mouth, a school of fish swam down his throat. Before he knew it, Jack swallowed all the fish. But he didn't mind. He laughed a seal laugh full of bubbles. Onward, Kathleen, clicked Teddy. Lead us to the Jellyfish Cove. Chapter 8. Cloak of the Old Gray Ghost. And that's where we're gonna stop for today. So we're gonna stop there, and we will continue reading chapters 8, 9, and 10 tomorrow, and then we'll read 11 and 12, and then we'll be all finished. So we learned today what a Selkie was, which is kind of a cool thing. It actually is not real, but it's actually a long tradition that comes from Ireland. So anyway, we learned about that. So tomorrow's chapter is Cloak of the Old Grey Ghost. What do you think the Cloak of the Old Grey Ghost might mean? Leave your answer in the comments. See you tomorrow!